Hey guys, welcome back. Better Than a Let's Play episode 11. This is the MoonQuest edition. I'm Enigmius, and today we're moving forward. But a funny thing happened on our way to forward. If you watched the last episode, you were paying very close attention to what we had done. You'll notice that what we've got in front of us is a little bit different. And that's because after I finished recording the last episode, I decided to relax and go mining for a little while. And as I was about to bring an end to my mining expedition, the game crashed. And when I went to load it, my save wasn't showing up. Now, I did find a solution to that. You go and you make a copy of a thing, and then you rename except the delete, and then you put copy over, and then it's new, but it's not, and all the stuff in your inventory was gone, and I said, bullshit. I had a backup that was from before we filmed the last episode, counting the mining trip that I was on when the game crashed. There was 2 mining trips, plus the assembly and installation of our heat generator facility. So as is my way, whenever the game tries to bend me over, is I restore things and then I treat myself a little bit within reason. Now, what I've basically done, you may notice, is I've added an extra heat generator because I noticed as I was getting ready to reinstall them that there was room for one more that came for free. I upgraded and added 1 energy cube. These are the next tier up from the basic ones, I believe. Now, just to be clear, we're not talking about giving myself things that I don't have the infrastructure to produce, like if I needed a special expensive machine or whatever to make these, I wouldn't give that to myself. If it required materials that I didn't have access to or that were rare, I wouldn't give that to myself. In this case, it was just saving me time, being that these things are made out of materials I already had access to, so on and so forth. So we restored ourselves to good working order, and then I decided as well that I deserved a couple of upgrades to my modular power suits. And again, the same thing, not something that, for example, the energy shields for the armor or anything like that require like a ton of energy pearls, no flight modules, nothing like that. Just, for example, the heat generator that generates power off of excess heat in the suit, and the running thing, so when you run you generate a little bit of power, also generates heat. So I went on another mining expedition as well, because one thing I don't do is I don't spawn in raw materials for myself. I actually enjoy the mining process, so I just kind of leave that alone. I decided to go mine and get caught up a little bit on some of the stuff that I lost. And I didn't realize that the modular power suits, when you get down to the bedrock layer, they overheat much, much faster than if you're at any layer above 5. Or so it seemed, and I actually wound up dying. And when I got back to pick up all my stuff, that's what I found along with it. So I had one of these, and now they're perpetually staring at one another, just facing off, getting ready for war. Little did either of them know that that's as far as they're going to get. So that's kind of the ordeal that I've been through, just in the name of playing the game and trying to make sense of strange things that don't make sense. But we did do a little bit of building, very important building. So as always, we did a time lapse of that, and I'll let you take a look at that, and then we'll get on to some tech stuff. Now, this first build is our airship dock. I mentioned this previously. It's nothing particularly secretive or crazy. There's no tech involved in the dock itself, at least up to this point. But what made the build interesting is the blocks that I wound up using. These are marble pavers and anti-pavers. Now, it's a connected textures thing, and I don't know if it works with vanilla Minecraft. Normally, when I think connected textures, it has to have Optifine at the very least. So, I don't know. I'm using Optifine. Connected textures works. That's kind of where I'm at with it. We got the nerd pole out because we couldn't reach where we needed to from here. Now, the whole idea, as you can see a little bit more clearly with the stairs here, is when you've got a marble paver and you put it directly beside another marble paver, the seam between them disappears. And you end up, it looks like it's basically a rectangular block instead of two squares next to one another. That's the connected textures. But with the anti-pavers, it's considered a different block that doesn't connect. So if you want to have like a little pattern, like we did on the stairs, you can choose where the seams are by alternating the pavers and the anti-pavers. Everywhere you want a seam, you put the opposite block to what you've been using up to that point, and you get the opportunity to make these neat little patterns very, very simply, very, very easily. It's fun. It's surprisingly fun just being able to make these little patterns by placing the blocks. And for something that doesn't really take a lot by way of resources, it's just a great way to add a little bit of extra aesthetic appeal to the build and kind of step it up above the ordinary, because I was a little bit concerned. You may have noticed, as a general rule, I don't build with wood. I was afraid I was going to have to build this out of wood because I couldn't think of anything else I wanted to use. And then we came across this, and I was very happy. So we've got the neat little design, and then I didn't want to fall off because we're way up in the air, 155 or so blocks above bedrock. And then just left the spot open, because when you have the airship pulled up to the dock, that's where you'll embark and disembark the airship. So this second build that we did, again, is not super complex. It doesn't involve directly in this build anything technical, but I wanted a place for the next technical part of our build. Now this is about the highest place on the mountain. It's kind of odd in its natural shape, in that right where I'm standing now is basically the top, and then that sort of rise immediately to my left is just this narrow, skinny, it's almost like a dorsal fin that sticks up out of the top of the mountain. So I wanted to kind of run with that and make an arch down connecting to the right side of the top of the mountain, so that it looks not necessarily natural, but at least kind of flowing. It doesn't sort of stand out as another artificial structure like we've got with Optimus Prime off to the left there. So we have the arch with the redstone blocks across the top, and then the supporting arch underneath made out of stone. And then, as I did with the Testificate Mega builds, filling in the stone area with scaffolding, just again to give it that sort of structural look. Not afraid of it being obvious that this is a not naturally occurring structure. And I like the scaffolding again because it adds visual detail without completely obscuring everything that's going on behind it. You can see through it. So that was basically the idea. And as arched structures go, I think I've been doing them for long enough now that they're starting to get pretty straightforward, which I like. This came together pretty quickly. I didn't use any sort of guide or template for the shape of the arch underneath, and it just kind of goes together. Now, again, with the micro blocks, it was a case of deciding I didn't want to put micro blocks up top because that's where we're going to have other goodies, but underneath it made a lot of sense to have micro blocks smoothing that out, so that again we've got the option to make it so that you don't see the blockiness quite so much. We might as well run with it. And I still have all kinds of stone. My saw is still in very good shape. It's actually probably about my 4th or 5th saw by now, but I wasn't too worried about having to find materials for another saw, and it just comes together. It works out pretty good. So I was pretty happy with it. It didn't take super long. This was about half an hour to build this section of it, with the arches and the arch underneath, and then the scaffolding and the micro blocks. For what it is, half an hour is not too bad. Now what we're going to be building is the first in I don't know how many batches of wind turbines that we will be installing along that area that we made for the wind turbines. They're not a particularly complicated recipe. This is the wind turbine. It's osmium ingots. We know how to do that from the last one. Enriched alloy as well. That's what we put in one of the metallurgic infusers for. We have the control circuit, which is also very simple, more enriched alloy and redstone, very, very easy. And the same energy tablets that we were using in the last episode to make the energy cubes, enriched alloy, gold, redstone, not particularly difficult materials to come by. So what I would like to do, I keep treating this like it's a factorization pocket crafting table, setting it all up on the right side. So I want to make 3 of these guys, these wind turbines, and I want to install them, and I just want to watch them fly around because I don't have any more energy cubes to fill up, and those energy cubes fill so damn fast anyway that it's almost like some sort of sick game. We need 6 of these total. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. What did I just say? And then I ignore myself because it's fun and easy. I suppose I could have broken this down, make it easier, but who cares? These guys don't stack. And lastly, we need nothing. We're in good shape. So we take one of these. There's a wind turbine. One of these. Another wind turbine. And something like that is our 3rd wind turbine. Out of all that building that we did up top, I don't even know if I gave myself... Oh, I think I did. I think I did give myself a way to get up top. So this is sort of our access. This is in between the 2 arches down here. I have to do something with this, close it off. One of the things that I did also is I went through and I replaced all of the solid blocks of stone with slabs from Forge Multiparts so that they show up the same gray color as the other micro blocks throughout the arches. I did the same thing with the bridge down at the bottom. Just the aesthetic purpose, having them 2 different shades of gray was not ideal. I was happier to get them one solid color, even if they don't match the rest. Okay, so I didn't do a perfect job of setting myself up here, but I don't even know how much space one of these wants. Oh. Look at that. Isn't it glorious? It even makes a happy wind sound. That's fantastic. Now, that green square that you're seeing there, I believe, is the energy output. You can only connect a wire to the front of the turbine, so that's why I placed it where I did. And it disappears if you highlight the top. It's 4 blocks tall, but it disappears if you highlight the top 2. That's fine. We'll forgive it. And it looks like it wants to be 5 blocks wide as well. If we were to leave enough proper space for the propeller, it would be 5 blocks wide. So that's cool. We did kind of the right thing up here so far. Oops. Keep making it disappear. So there's 2. And there's blah, blah, blah. And this guy, we're going to put him right here. He gets his 5 blocks. I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. To me, when we talk about the machines at this point, if we're talking about machines that serve a specific purpose, I don't even care if it's like a multi-block machine, like a smeltery. I like the smeltery. I like the idea. I like the way it works. It's very interesting. But when it comes to machines that generate power or that process ore or things like that, I don't dislike them if they're just like a cube or like a simple multi-block structure. I don't dislike that. But if we can take that concept of machines that are doing something beyond simply sitting there being pretty and step it up another level, I find it a lot more interesting. That's why I really wanted to get into the mechanism. It's not necessarily because the heat generators are fantastic, but because of these guys. And then we installed the energy cubes and found out they've got that cool little 3D cube spinning around inside of them. The little details like that, I think we're at that point where it's nice to see mod devs evolving what they're doing visually, as well as just trying to put a different spin on the same stuff that we've been doing for ages and ages. So now I got to come up with a plan, because getting these wind turbines up here was a big part of the plan for me, and now I kind of have to decide what direction we want to head next. Do we want to just push for the moon right away, or do we want to focus on a little more infrastructure? We'll find out, I think, when we get an idea of how much power these guys are actually generating, because we're at height 164 right now. We're way the hell up in the sky, so if altitude has any bearing on how much power these guys produce, we're milking it for all it's worth. And we're gonna leave it there, because might as well end on a high note, as they say. All of the goodies. So the next episode will be out as soon as I figure out what we need to do to make the next episode. If you want to be notified when I add it, easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter at Enigmius1, get notifications when I add new videos, and also Google plus Enigmius1. Please leave your comments and feedback below. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.